Are we getting in an argument on this one?
No, there's not going to be an argument.
Interesting.
Not a huge one. There will be a. I'll stay in my corner. You stay in yours.
I gotta say, I was so impressed with this.
Melissa Rivers, we talked to her about Donald Trump. You know that she and, of course, her late mother were very close with Donald Trump. They were, I know Joan won Celebrity Apprentice. Right. So we asked her about what Donald Trump has been saying, some of the things he's been saying, specifically
about Muslims. And what. Now, just listen to this carefully, because listen to whether Melissa supports Trump or supports the notion of
saying crazy things
that get people involved. Now watch this.
What do you think about his comments just about Muslims not being should be able in the country? I mean, what do you think?
I think that whether you agree with Donald or not agree with Donald, he starts conversations. He starts conversations and has gotten more people engaged in the political process and current events and what's going on in this world than anyone else has in a long time. He's actually created a dialogue and gotten people engaged, and that's what democracy is to get, you got to get engaged.
That's true.
To get to make this country run, and you can agree or disagree, but he's gotten people engaged, which is huge.
I think it's really important that you notice she never said, I support what Trump said about Muslims, about keeping them out of the country, about any of his views. But
she didn't say yes, she didn't say no.
She didn't say yes or no.
Right in the middle, right.
But you know what, the way I interpret it, she doesn't believe it. But, I mean, I really think that's the way because otherwise she would say it.
But she needs to say something positive about Donald Trump because of her connection with Donald Trump, and so
Can you deny what she said is true?
I think what she said is true. For me personally, you can say that, but then also say, maybe have a little responsibility when you say these things.
I think what she's saying is undeniably true, being that, you know, Donald Trump has caused so much outrage, it's caused people to actually contemplate what they're willing to give up in order to have their version of America. But I think that what Charles is saying is maybe the more important point. At what cost do you want to, like, ignite a debate?
What do you mean, at what cost? I mean, suppose Trump believes this. I mean, the fact is that there are, and I don't, but there are people in the country that do believe
Obviously, there are by the millions.
Let me make my point. By the millions, there are. So it's not like everybody who says it doesn't believe it. A lot of people who say it do believe it. So the fact that they believe it, that's the point that makes our country so great.
I get it.
You can't dismiss them
I'm
and
not
say they shouldn't be saying it.
Let's all just get out. Let's get out a big red. Let's get a big red Sharpie out and just start rewriting the entire Constitution.
Let's have a talk.
Which we can do.
When people said let's abolish slavery, that wasn't in the Constitution, but they put it in there. So you can have conversations that aren't yet there that you want there. So that's what the country is, and
but
that's
there wasn't
something.
But there wasn't something in the Constitution that said you can have slaves.
Okay, then we'll go to abortion.
So they added something. Okay. They didn't take something out of the Constitution.
Guess what else isn't in the Constitution?
They didn't take something out of the Constitution.
Guess what else?
So if you want to take freedom of religion out of the Constitution, get your red Sharpie and go at it.
He's whacking you.
Sharpie. Can someone bring a red Sharpie? And the Constitution too.
Would somebody pull the Constitution out and see if the words privacy or abortion are in there? You will not find them in there, yet they have become constitutional rights. So there are things that are not there that become that.
Added, but you didn't take something.
No, they weren't added. The Supreme Court did it. The Supreme Court did it. They were never in the Constitution, still aren't.
The point is, anytime you drum up rhetoric that actually puts the lives, because remember, these Muslims that we're talking about, these are American citizens.
I understand
and to me, a lot of the rhetoric that you drum up puts their lives at risk. You have to take responsibility for that. I think that there are a lot of people that might feel emboldened to do things to American citizens because of something that someone is running.
So you don't think we should have this discussion?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some stuff is absolutely absurd and beyond the scope of what we should be considering. We shouldn't be considering imprisoning people.
How do you account for millions of people supporting what he says?
I think there's a fringe out there that if you give them a voice and if you embolden them, they'll think that what they're saying is mainstream.
I'm not sure we can call them fringe anymore.
That's fair.
So, you know,
that's fair.
Thank you, Donald Trump. We would not have had this conversation.
I'm not endorsing it. I don't endorse it. I'm just saying.
I agree with what Melissa said.
You got to be willing to have these conversations.
We can have these conversations.
Anyway, I like what Melissa said.
You have to be willing. Wait, real quick. You have to be willing to have a conversation about whether or not you should put American citizens into prisons because of their religious beliefs.
Okay. You have to be willing to let people talk. That's the idea of a democracy.
Well, I mean, freedom of speech is in the Constitution, but we could decide to take that out.
We could take that out anytime we want.